Welcome in, everybody. It is Saturday morning, another edition of Also Eligible. I am Joe Quills, and we're going to go a little bit differently here today. We're going to go back to our roots and be like one race here, one race there, one race everywhere, it seems. So, back to our roots with our racing today here on this Saturday morning as we get ready for another snowstorm here in the Mid-Atlantic region as the guesses on how many inches of snow we're going to get keeps getting higher and higher. Um, it is what it is. So I hope everybody's doing well out there on this Saturday morning. Hope everybody's awake. Ooh, excuse me. You would think that I was drinking more than just coffee, but we're here and we're going to be looking at three races here today. We're going to look at a race from Oaklawn in Arkansas. They have the Nodouble Breeders Stakes today. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the feature race at Santa Anita, the Wishing Well Stakes, not named after the Terrence Trent D'Arby song. I'm sure you remember that now I mentioned his name. And then we're going to look at the big one tonight, the John Battaglia Memorial. It is at Turfway Park on their synthetic surface, a mile and the 16th. Winner gets 20 points towards the Kentucky Derby. So top five will get points. It'll be 20, 10, 6, 4, and 2. So just to let you guys know as well, as we get started here, we do have the FanDuel promo up there. And now, granted, that is for the sports book. Now I know what you're saying, Joe, that's sports book, and in some states you may not be able to use it. I understand that. But if you're in a state where you're looking to get a new sports book app, take advantage of that, because if you take advantage of it, maybe you get some winnings here with some early games. And the next thing you know, you got money that you can transfer over to the horse racing side. Because the great thing about FanDuel, you can go from race book to casino to sports book. Bing, bang, boom. So that's why we're recommending you guys here today. I apologize for yawning here. So take advantage of all the offers that are out there. And some of the promotions that they have on here that we will look at that's horse racing related. You have the money back specials here. And forgive me, I have like a million tabs open today because we're going through three different tracks today. Let me go here. I'm here. As what's his face said, Patrick Mahomes. So anyway, there's the money back special here. And just reminder how this works. If your horse finishes second or third in these select races, you will get up to $10 back on your wagers if your horse finishes second or third. The Wishing Well is part of this promotion today. And as of right now, we have a field of 9 that's entered. The reason why I say right now is because of the fact that it's California. It's only 7 o'clock in the morning out there. So they have 9 horses entered in that race here today. So that is one race that we're looking at here, and that's part of the racing bonuses. As long as your horse finishes third, you'll get your money back for second or third there. Now, if you have less than 7, if you have 5, 6, or 7 horses in the race, you'll get your money back if your horse finishes second. All the terms and conditions are on there. Santa Anita race 7, that's the race that we're looking at, the Wishing Well. Unfortunately, the Oaklawn race is not covered in this today. On my part there, but we were struggling to find races to look at this week because it is a slow week. Next week, things really get cranking with Gulfstream and Aqueduct on Saturday, and also Oaklawn on Sunday. So we have that going our way here. So we do have at least one race here that is part of this money back special. So we went 1 for 2 there. But you have the Road to the Derby promotion. Same rules apply. But in this one, you can wager up to $20. Get up to $20 back on for your horses if you finish second or third. And you have a full field. Actually, let me rephrase that. It is an overflow field of 13 horses. 12 will run at the most, and they are going a mile and a 16th here today. Or I should say this evening, because they're running under the lights. So, especially if you're on the East Coast today, you will have an opportunity to get your cravings for French toast, because every time you hear a snowstorm coming here, everybody's got to get their milk, their bread, and their eggs. And I'm not an egg person, but I do have to get bread. I do have to get milk because I need my cereal in the morning. I need my sandwiches every once in a while. You gotta survive out there. And now I know why, with everything that I go through. Now I know why they create half loaves, but that's a topic for the Joe Quill Show, which is every Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, 9:00 here on most of these same channels. So we do have some Bleacher Brothers news, and apparently I got news before AJ did for once, and bit of a shocker because AJ usually, I say, hey, so-and-so's running. It's like, yeah, I know. Well, I got this in my email today. And the great thing is, if you're looking for particular horses to run, and forgive me, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee here. The one thing is, and I'll tell you this right now, if you're a type of person that likes to follow specific horses, and in my case, I do it for the sake of content for Bleacher Brothers here. The one thing I will tell you guys, and I would have to figure it out again because it's been a while since I set these up, but you can set up what's called DRF watch mail, and you can do the same thing for Equibase, and you can do it with I think I have set up for Twin Spires as well. And I know they're a competitor to to FanDuel. I know, okay, don't shoot the messenger. But the point is, you get these alerts in your email. And I got off the phone with AJ last night, and probably like 5 minutes before we hung up the phone, because you don't see the alerts on your phone when you're talking, whether you're talking hands-free or Bluetooth or whatever. I see there was an alert after the fact. I emailed AJ right away, and the town will be running, or at least is entered this Friday. Maybe I put the wrong words out there. Forgive me, I'm trying to do a million different things here. So maybe I used the wrong verb or right verbiage, but the town is entered. On Saturday, on Friday next week, the 27th, it is the finale of a 10-race card, and he will be running on the turf yet again, going a mile. I mean, I personally think a mile and the 16th would be better, but they're going a mile on the turf. And also, it all depends on how the races are written, and you can plan ahead for your horses with these what's called condition books, and they have a list of races that you can enter your horses in, and you have to enter by a certain time frame, and you can go and make your plans with, like, for example, the town, who's still looking to get his first win. Obviously, they want to try him on the turf again. Obviously, after the issues that he had last time out, where he veered out, the horse that veered in lost the jockey and all that, still has not had a race that did not involve trouble. And, this just may be a horse that just has bad bleeping luck. But he will be entered on Friday. He's entered for Friday. And I know AJ believes me that he's running on Friday, but he draws post position 5. Irad Ortiz rides. And I need to see one thing here as well, because hopefully I can do this without setting off all the noise here. Because I think the town did. Irad did ride last time. Okay. So yeah, Irad's been on the last couple of times for the town. The first 2 races were Imesiel Yaramillo, but I think he ended up going to. Oh, Irad ran the first. Okay. So Irad ran in 3 of the 4 races for him. So, and Irad's one of the top jockeys. So, top jockeys in the country. So, just to give you an idea here. So, but the town is running on Saturday, and that will be the finale of a 10 race card. Certain racetracks and certain betting platforms, you may see races 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever. Those races will be part of their Latin America simulcast program, or whatever they call it, where they will have a couple additional races from some track in South America. But that is some news there with the town. I get all the alerts on my phone, and I'll be looking here and be like, okay, so and so. Do we want to do this or that or whatever? So, so we'll see what happens with that, and I'm sure that will be something I'll be looking at later in the week. Also, with the snow that's impending here in the East Coast, I'm imagining that we'll be focusing more towards Will Rogers, Turfway Park, at least on Monday and Tuesday, because usually when you get a snowstorm at parks, especially in the dead of winter, they usually take longer than other tracks. And I can imagine my dad acting like he's ripping his hair out. How come this track is? But we're going to be focusing on our 3 tracks today, and we're going to start off at Oaklawn here. They have the Nodouble Breeders Stakes, and it is for state bred, which is Arkansas breds there, because they're in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We're going to look at this field here, and this is going to be a show where we're not going to have any videos to share, so we're not going to be sharing that. So, but I'll share my screens here, and we're going to be looking at a couple of different programs here, different program formats. So, so the one thing I will tell you guys, for the most part, you get the same information. Some you may have like a little bit different information here and there, but you know what? In the end, I think that whether it is Brisnet, Equibase, Daily Racing Form, you're going to get the information that you need. The Cat Ate My Form is watching on YouTube. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good morning. And hope you're doing well. And hopefully we get you some winners. Even if it's not the horse that I like and the horse that I'm picking here, hopefully I can give you guys some information that, you know, you may say, well, Joe has a good point on this horse, but that's what this is all about. You know, I will gladly sacrifice a little bit of win percentage if I can help you guys make money, even if it's at my expense. So hope you're having a good day today. So let's get to the races here, and we're going to begin with Oaklawn, and we're going to be using the Brisnet programs here. And you know my motto, if it's free, it's for me. And Oaklawn has some sort of an agreement with Brisnet that you can get every day's program for free. Now, if you don't want that, you can also get it through the New York Racing Association. So because they like to show, they tend to show their races on America's Day at the races. So you do have options here. So, yeah, and you know, if you want to use the Daily Racing Form, I mean, that's what I prefer. But, you know, I also like to say, you know, if it's free, it's for me. So we're going to look at this race here. We got the field of 9 here. Let me just double check that here. I'm sorry, field of 8, excuse me. And favored in this race is the 3 Bohemian Bow. He comes in off of a win, first race in almost 6 months there. And when you look at this race here, when you look at his form here, one thing you see right away, he only knows one way to run, and that's on the lead. Now, one thing that concerns me, and you may say, well, if he's alone on the lead like he was last time out, he's going to win. But I'll also argue that last race in December, now granted we could argue first race in 6 months, blah, blah, blah. You do have a horse that does tire late or appears to tire late. You got a horse here that doesn't hold on to leads. And that race in June at Churchill Downs didn't even get the lead. So this horse needs to have everything his own way. And he may get an easy lead. Now, he may be going very fast, but sometimes it's not about, sometimes in racing, it's not about the speed. It's about the fact that it isn't just the physical tiring, it's also the mental fatigue. So, you know, if you're running a 20, I mean, now granted, we'll have to use this as an example of a longer race, but this is 6 furlongs. Let's say you're running a mile and your first furlong's 24, first quarter's in 24 and change. Well, sometimes if you have a horse right next to you, sometimes that mental strain is what gets to you. It's kind of like being at your job and work is on your rear end over every little thing. Trust me, I know what that's like. But you get a horse that goes for the lead here. You know, you got a horse that is going to be on the lead, and I don't see anybody who challenges him early The problem is I see a horse that tends to spit the bit every time. Now, granted, he's stepping up a little bit, but you got a horse here who can, I mean, this race did come up a little light here, but still, I'm a little leery of putting my money on this horse because of the fact that almost blew a 2.5 length lead there, tired badly there, uh, tired there, couldn't hold on here, tired badly here. You see the pattern here now, and also the horse is now 6 years old, so that's definitely something that I would be wary of. But you may say, "Oh, he's lone speed." Okay, I'm not going to argue against you. You have an opportunity to make some money here, no matter what it is. So, um, the 4 Navy SEAL. Um, this is a horse that's going to be closing, and with a horse that, even though it's going to be loose on the lead, this is a stone cold closer. And you see it, in this race here in January 3rd. I think what they wanted to do, and this is just me thinking, even though it went up in class a little bit there state bred, um, from state bred optional claiming to a restricted stake race. If you notice here, he's running like every month or every 4 weeks. You see that time frame there, a month, 27 days, about a month, about a month, about a month, a month and a half. Daily Racing Form wouldn't have that line there, but then takes some time off. You make the decision, comes back, runs well in that return race at Oaklawn against Arkansas bred horses, runs against restricted company here, and didn't close. I mean, probably made the move a little too soon. Now, I will argue, knowing how the Oaklawn schedule was this year, they may have forced that horse to run. Now, I'm not saying that as as an ethical thing. I'm saying it as this is something that you have at a lot of tracks that only run summer meets, for example, where let's get one more race in before the track closes down for the season. In this case, let's try to get this one race in, because that was the last weekend before they took their winter break. Because part of the reason why they did it is because usually usually in the month of January, since they went to this new schedule where they started in December, they tend to have a lot of cancellations in the month of January. So they might have tried to get this race in and sneak it in. So I wouldn't be surprised if this horse is flying late, because even though it's a 6-week break, or 7 weeks, but you get the idea, almost 2 months, you do get the feeling that this horse could be primed and ready to go. Now, AJ and I were talking about this last night, and we were talking about Ewing and Griffin Johnson and all that. Oaklawn lost a week of training when that January winter storm that hit my area in the Mid-Atlantic tracked through Oaklawn. Now, Oaklawn's in a national park, so they can't use the chemicals that most tracks can use to thaw out the track. So in terms of this, because you can't train, you can't do anything, you tend to, when you lose a little time here, you start realizing, oh, we have to get back there. And like one of the things I told AJ about Ewing is he did miss a week of training because of the weather. Kind of like he says he thinks Schoolyard Superman, who's in New York, lost time because of the weather in my neck of the woods. So, but in this case, with this race, even though you're looking like about a month after that, the bad weather hit most of the country, you're getting to a point now where that's no longer an excuse. But in this case here, this horse could be primed for a big effort here today. In my opinion, could go off as the favorite, especially considering if you think about the fact that he ran twice in a very short period, which is uncharacteristic of what we're seeing in those last 10, 12 races. So that's something that I would definitely consider. Now, also Willow Creek Road, tends to tire here. Has an okay record at Oaklawn. Be definitely a bit of a shocker there. Cybertown shortening up here. We'll pass on him. 110 Stadium. This is a horse that has not run much in the past year. Ran in May and then went on the shelf. Well, you know what I mean. Had a layoff here to December. Finished fourth here with a lot of these horses that ran in the same race. That's why you're seeing all this bold-faced type here. Steered out, was gaining on Willow Creek Road, who finished third that day. So you're looking at a horse here who, when he's right, could really surprise. But I just think that this is the horse that's the best of the rest here. And, this is a very chalky race, in my opinion. The horse I like here is the 8 Touchdown Arkansas. And, usually I think this past college season, everybody was scoring on Arkansas, not the other way around. But lightly raced, only ran in 5 races, and it's now a 5-year-old. Got into the races once, had one race in 24, the 3rd-year-old season, came back and started winning. I think this is the horse that's going to be pressuring the favorite. And when you have a favorite, well, the morning line favorite, I should say, and the fact that this horse could be pressuring the front runner here, could have that perfect trip, not too far off of the favorite, and just take over in the stretch, which I think he will do here. And he did gain late in that last race. He wasn't that far off the pace there. And you know what? I mean, the only thing that could put a foil in my plan is the fact that he's coming back in 15 days. Now, in my case, after seeing all these breaks in his brief history, you may be saying, well, why are they bringing him back so soon? But he did come back after that win last year at Oaklawn, where he broke the maiden, ran an allowance race, which was about 3 weeks and won. So, maybe a good sign that this horse is running, or at least is entered today. So I'm going to go with the 8 here, Touchdown Arkansas here. I am going 8-4-3-7 here. I'm going Touchdown Arkansas over Navy SEAL, who should be closing. Bohemian Bow, I think, will be tiring late in this race. So that is one. Whoop, that's not what we wanted there. Actually, let's delete that. So we're one race in here. So we're a race in, and hopefully you guys will take advantage of that race here today. And that's the first race that we'll look at today. That goes That race goes off at 5:10 p.m. Eastern. If it's not FS1, it's FS2. And if it's not, you can watch it on your favorite. If it's not even on FS1 or FS2 or even FS88, it may be on YouTube, because if you go under Naira on the US on YouTube, you can watch a lot of those races that they show on FS1, FS2, whatever. So just to give you a heads up on different ways you can watch the races. So we're going to continue on here. We're going to look at the second race of our triumvirate today, and we're going to look at Santa Anita. They have a 9-race card, and they have a race that is not named after Terrence Trent D'Arby, who changed his name years ago afterwards. But whoops, let's go here. And this is the Wishing Well. And they are going 6 furlongs on the turf course. Now, this is a new setup that they have within the last few years. And let me show you here. Because it doesn't, the daily racing form doesn't give it justice here, because of the fact that they make it look like they're running on the main track. Because that's, they never, because it's such an odd setup for North American racing. So I'm going to share this tab here. So way up here is the turf chute when they go down the hill. We've talked about many times how the races go down the hill. They had a problem with horses breaking down about 5, 6, 7 years ago. So as a result, what they wanted to do is they wanted to continue to run some of those races that were down the hill, but they didn't want to always run 5 or 5.5 furlongs, where 5.5 furlongs are actually starting on the dirt. So they built this chute here, and that's where they're actually going to be starting here. I think they'll be close to here. I don't think they will be on the quick turn here. I think they're actually going to be somewhere in this area. So they built this a few years ago. So you're going to go from here quickly onto the dirt and back onto the turf there. Then you'll continue on to the finish. So that's the actual configuration. It is a little misleading on the daily racing form, but hey, could be worse. They could have it that you have no clue what they're looking at here. So we're going to look at that race here, and you have a field of 9 here, and we won't have any scratches known to us because of the fact that you do have the time differences. It's only 7:30 out there, so but you do have a field of 9 here, and I need my script here. One thing I forgot to do today is I forgot to print my scripts up last night and this morning, so thankfully I'm not too bad here. Okay, so favored in this race here is the 6 Gracefully, and she's won just that way. She is 4 for 4 lifetime, and has had things her own way. I mean, she's shown that she can win on the lead. She's won on races off the turf. And even the fact that even with off the turf races, still had 8 horses in that race is still a nice, still a good thing to see, in my opinion. ran at Aqueduct in an allowance optional claiming race there, ends up winning. Comes out west of Santa Anita and, gets to rake behind the leaders, gets to race on this particular portion of the turf course, a little bit different than down the hill, and one going away fairly easily. So 4 for 4. Maybe they found a filly here that really could be a nice sprinter, even on the grass. Now, doesn't necessarily have to have the lead, but does have the speed to go the distance. First time facing stakes company as well. This is a restricted stake, and it is for 4-year-olds and upwards that have not won a graded stake since August 1st, 2025. So anything within the last 6 months or so, if you hadn't won a race, you're eligible. If you haven't won a graded stake, you're in this race. So you may see a graded stake winner here, but it'd be far enough back. So you're looking at this horse, going to be tough to beat here. Now, one horse that is a bit of a mystery is the 4 Saratoga Special. Now, I will say this, and I'll let you behind the curtain a little bit again. AJ sees this and he says, oh, it's an automatic pass. I will tell you it's an opportunity to do a little more digging, especially if you have FanDuel Racing, because guess what? You can go on there, you can click on there, you can see, you'll see that it was a race of 19 other horses in this race, which is definitely something I like to see when you have horses running in a race like this, even if it's first time North America. Now, if this was definitely a race that I would, if this was definitely a race that I would be betting on like a couple of months prior, I would be jumping all over this horse because of the fact that she showed a good effort in this race. Also, with the chaos of a 19-horse race. Now, granted, it was a straight track, and you have a very wide course as well. You have, if you're not up there at the front, you're probably going to get blocked by a couple of horses, which is what happened. Found the hole in that last race, but got outfinished by these other horses. Maybe, some may argue, I don't know what the weights were of the other horses that finished in the top 4 here, or the top 3, but this horse carried 134 pounds that day. So for those that believe in weights, there was an angle that I had at Woodbine for many years. First time North America dropping 10 pounds or more in weight would work like a charm, and sometimes you get these crazy 25-to-1 shots. Now, granted, this isn't Woodbine, obviously, and obviously you're not going to go 25-to-1. Also, I think that there is, has gotten acclimated to being in Southern California there, so time getting used to being in America, all that stuff. So even the psychological stuff that you don't necessarily think of. But in my case here, I think that when you look at this race, I would not be surprised if you see this horse up there late. I think this horse does have a good kick. But we'll see what happens here, because you may see this horse just sitting there ready to pounce, and being in a 19-horse race, that but if there's one thing that worries me, is this workout here on Valentine's Day last Saturday, 46-4 on the inner course there. So so definitely you know, maybe a little bit too fast, but maybe that's a great thing. The races aren't run on paper; they're run on the turf course here. So don't be surprised if that horse pulls off an upset here. I'm about to go, ran down the hill, and won that race. You didn't think that this horse was going to win. You see the horse drop back when he gets towards the base of the hill before they go across the main track to the main portion of the course. You see the horse drop back, and you're like, man, I got no shot here. This horse is dropping back. I wasted my money. What they did here is they tipped out when they got to right about the part where the turf, you cross over onto the dirt for about 2 seconds and then go onto the main turf course. And even if you watch this video, Frank Miramati didn't think this horse had a chance, and then at the last second, I'm about to go, acting like, oh my God, where did this horse come from? So more of a speed horse here, and if this horse goes for the lead, may be able to cause problems with the 6. But I think that this horse is just too good and too fast early on that I don't think the 6 can. I don't think the 3 can keep up, at least early on. But that's why you run the races on the track and not on paper. Miss Lizzie, does have that race here, and it is a good sign that she comes back here after these long layoffs that she had here. Navy Bell did win a couple of times at Del Mar last summer, maybe. Egyptian Mao finished 4th in the Las Ciennegas. Bit slow at the start, but seems like she's a horse a mare that wants to close, may not start right away. Yeah, because you can see here, off slow, bobbled, step slow. And we'll have about a half a furlong less to work with. I see Pork Chop is up early, or he's up late. Welcome in. So Egyptian Mao, I think that this horse is the horse that could upset the favorite here. I would not be surprised if Gratefully ends up 5 for 5. But also, I would not be surprised if she gets beat as well. But I'm going to swing for the fences here. A slight upset. I'm going for Egyptian Mao here, and a little bit of an upset here. I'm going 8643 here in the Wishing Well. Not brought to you by Terrence Trent Darby. And then we get to the main event of the night, and it is the John Battaglia Memorial. They are going, whoops, lost my screen there. Hold on. Oh, did I hit the wrong thing? If I had my sound alerts my sound alerts reloaded on my Stream Deck, because I had to do a total clean out of my computer because I was having internet issues, and me not being the complete tech wizard, I'm the type of person where let's eliminate A, B, C, D, and E, and let's see if it's F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. So last couple of days, my internet has been fine, and it's only been this particular computer that I'm having trouble with. So, but wrong track, dummy. Here we go. Yeah, I know what I did. I hit the. Okay, I do have to tell you one thing. Sometimes when I have these 18 different tabs going, I do tend to hit stop sharing, which is a deeper green color for me, instead of share this tab, which is a lighter green. So that's why we did not, that's why I lost the screen there briefly. So let's zoom this in a little bit. So we have an overflow field of 13 here. At the most, Turfway Park has 12 horses in the gate. So small town there, the 13 will need some help to get into the race here. So, and also for those that are watching for the first time, the synthetic track that they have, which is called Tapeta at Turfway Park, in general, it tends to be a neutralizer where turf horses can run well on it, dirt horses can run well on it, but they may run like crap on there as well. So you never know what's going to happen with these races. And, you know, that's why a lot of people over the last couple of years since Churchill Downs bought into Turfway Park and did all the work that they did, it's why you see some crazy results every now and then. Now in this race here, we got a full field of 12. Street Beast is the 5-2 favorite here, and went gate to wire here, had the outside post, went for the lead. See you later. Has won 3 of the last 4, and has shown in the juvenile mile there at Kentucky Downs was not far from the lead and just took over. In the Leonidas Stakes there, went for the lead and just, you know, it said it held on for the win, but it wasn't in that much trouble. This horse doesn't look like there's much speed in this race here. And also, what's the shortest distance between two spots? A straight line. Now, granted, you got 2 turns to deal with. Depending on how the track is playing, if the rail is good, you're looking at a horse that can go gate to wire here on this surface here. And that'll be big because that's 20 points. And then, oh, by the way, you finish top 2 in the Jeff Ruby Stakes. If you finish second, that's 25 points. Oh, by the way, you got 45 points. You're probably going to the Derby. But this is a horse that's run on the turf. They said, why not? We won the Leonidas, and now we're going to see what we can do there. I think this horse could be lone speed in this race, and that's a dangerous thing. And we saw what it could do for some horses here. But, you know, the way that Turfway Park is, you get some crazy finishes here, and, you know, don't be surprised if you see a closer here proving me wrong. I need to pull up the file here for Turfway because stupid me did not print it out like I usually do, because I usually have my script ready to go, not grow. Even Miracle Grow won't help me with that. But now Full Effort finished second in that race and did challenge late and did have a strong closing kick, but just could not get by. Street Beast here, and is a strong closer here, but I don't know if this horse can, you know, you may need to get a little help here and another horse here, but also Got bumped around at the start, was wide most of the way around the track, made that one huge move. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Um, but you're looking at a horse here who could conceivably be closing late and may have the chance to turn the tables on the favorite here. So that is definitely something to look for here tonight as they run under the lights in Florence, Kentucky. The 7, Atfield, won the Central Park here, running on the synthetic for the first time. And we'll see what he does here tonight. Has been running on the training track at Belmont, getting ready for this. They ship him in, and they'll look to see if they can get him a win and get him to 20 points here, as he is Derby eligible. Because if you don't have that indicator here, it means you're not eligible. But now, granted, let's say this 6-horse Time for Money, let's say he wins at like 71. The owners and the trainer will probably get Derby fever, and they can still nominate for the Derby. But I don't see that happening. So, like Baytown Dreamer, I don't see anything there. But hasn't even run that well on the turf. Kilgo Tango won its maiden last time out. Maybe. I doubt it, though. Maximus Prime has run a couple of races here. Now, if you're a believer in trouble here, blocked at the quarter pole, but has a lot of work just to keep up with some of these horses here. Steel Imperium won at 6 furlongs here, gets to go 2 turns. And the one thing is, with this being the race of the day, and the one thing I will tell you, if you're a believer in the daily racing form program, and even if you don't want to get the actual program, full program, you don't want to sign up for a plan or anything like that, you can pick and choose the races of the day here, and you get these formulator programs, and you can see Essential Quality, even though he doesn't have much in the way of offspring hitting the track so far, his horse is already getting a 7.1 average distance, 7.1 furlongs, which is pretty good, because he was a horse that won at 1.25 miles in the Travers, won the Jim Dandy, won the Belmont. I forgot about that. Probably because I didn't have him that day. But you get the idea here. You can see a lot of little things here that you may not normally see on a regular program page. So, but and Tapeta for a while there, it seemed like his horses in non-Triple Crown years was always winning the Belmont. So something to file away here. Great White, once bitten, twice shy. Probably, first time facing winners there. Needed to get their feet wet into winter. Probably not good enough, but may improve off of that race and may be able to pull something off here. Stop the Car comes here from the fairgrounds, trying the synthetic for the first time. In Maximum Security's offspring, which only have 117 so far that have hit the track. His horses are 7 for 39 winning races. That's a 17%, where the average is about 14%. So, and that's on synthetic route races. So, and a route race is 1 mile or more. Full Effort we talked about. 2 Out Hero did win easily to break its maiden last July at Woodbine. Woodbine's main track is synthetic. Then won the Sore Free at Woodbine, and then got bumped around a little bit. Just didn't just got appears to be outkicked there in this race here. Got the fall got the fall off, or um, whether it's the fact that it's a there was an injury involved, or they just say, you know what, let's save him for that. And also, you know, I mean, I mean, you have Woodbine connections, but this is a horse that was bred in Kentucky, so you can't run this race in the Canadian Triple Crown. So, um, but you know, could have a possibility of upsetting the field here in this race. But I'll tell you one thing. I really like the fact that there is no other speed in this race. Speed along the rail could be dangerous here tonight. And I could see a same scenario setting up where Street Beast goes into beast mode, as Tony Kalo mentions in this race here, because he goes, beast mode, Street Beast on the lead going into beast mode, or something like that. And, you know, and the thing is, with, you can't get it on here, but if you go on FanDuel, you go on to, you can go on the FanDuel, you can go on to Twin Spires, you can go onto all these different platforms where you can watch these races. It's just that for whatever reason, you can't do it on here with the CDI tracks. Like, for example, you can go, like, for example, Maximus Prime here, you want to see if anything went wrong, there's the video you can watch, and it comes up. But so I'm going with the favorite here along the rail here. And we'll see if we can get ourselves a winner here today as we close out the show. Brendan, welcome in. So that is going to be it for this show. And next week, I am figuring out some banging, and you know, the floor was shaking a little bit. I know it's not her. I know it's not an earthquake. But I will tell you one thing: we will have a show on Saturday. We'll be looking at the Triple Crown, the Breeders Cup. Rewind. We will be looking at the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks prep races from Aqueduct and at Gulfstream. Then we will look at the races on Sunday from Oaklawn. I just need to figure out how I'm going to do Sunday because of the fact that I am going to be out of town Saturday to Tuesday. So, and I announced that on the Monday show last week that I'm going out of town. There's not going to be a show for the Joe Quill show on Monday, March 2nd, I think it is. So March 2nd, nothing. But March 3rd, depending on when I get back, we'll do that. So, and we'll get everything squared away here. So, but I do appreciate each and every one of you for watching. I appreciate Cat Ate My Form, whoever that is. You know, Pork Chop. I said something similar to Intercourse there, but it is what it is. And Brendan says, go Canada. Sissy Crosby's out, so go USA. So that's it for now. I do appreciate each and every one of you. So let's do it live Monday night on the Joe Quill show at 9 o'clock. Probably be a solo show because we're supposed to get hit with like a foot of snow again. And let's do it live next Saturday morning. Look at some more Triple Crown, Kentucky Derby prep races. So good luck with all your wagers. Good luck in everything today. And the MLS is back today. Yeah, they play DC tonight, and they did play on Wednesday a CONCACAF game where they beat the hell out of an overmatched team from Trinidad and Tobago 5-0. So I got the alerts on my phone. Goal, goal, goal. But that's it for now. I do appreciate each and every one of you. let's do it live Monday night. If not, if you're just here for the horse racing, I'll be here